This episode of the Poundcast is in part brought to you by Factor.
Too busy with summer plans to cook, but want to make sure you're eating well?
Skip the extra trip to the store, the prepping, and the cleaning up, too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. With Factor, meals are ready in just 2 minutes or less.
Head to factormeals.com/poundcast50 and use the code poundcast50 to get 50% off.
That's code poundcast50 at factormeals.com/poundcast50 to get 50% off.
You know what else is cool, Brent?
What?
This show is also brought to you by lvjco.com. That's where you find Louisville vegan jerky. And you know what's going on over there at lvjco.com that I'm excited about?
Yeah, me too.
It seems that I know you're excited about this too. It seems that every month they're putting out a new small batch flavor. And these small batch flavors are, we already told you about the Shelby Park Honey Barbecue. We already told you about the Nashville Hot Chicken. But what just dropped?
And we told you about the Pizza Supreme, as Pizzeria Supreme as well.
Don't get me started. And that's sadly that's sold out because it's so good. But look at this.
But this month,
all batch cheddar jalapeno popper flavored.
How about that?
Louisville vegan jerky. Now this is plant-based jerky, okay? And it is made with gluten-free, non-GMO soy. It is made in Louisville, bagged in Louisville, Kentucky, and has a shelf life of 9 months. And it's a delicious ass treat.
And they've got classic flavors in there too, like buffalo dill and smoky Caroline barbecue.
Yeah, General Tso's, which is now a forever flavor, thank goodness. And smoky Caroline barbecue. The flavors go on and on. Don't get me started. Perfect pepperoni. Okay.
And
so look, Poundcast listeners get 20% off, which is an incredible deal by going to lvjco.com and using the code word Poundcast and get 20% off the entire order. Now, this is something you don't want to pass up. This is something you want to take advantage of now because of these small batch flavors that they're putting out every month.
The small batch flavors, that's exciting. I mean, gosh, next month, by the way, we'll just give you a little inside scoop. Next
Poundcast
month,
exclusive, right?
They're doing a collaboration with the company Flyby Jing Sichuan Chili Crisp Sauce, something like that.
This is what it says here. We just have we have a secret notice that says they have a collaboration with the company Flyby Jing Sichuan Chili Crisp Sauce. So
they're doing a flavor that's going to be in collaboration with that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the secret notice here that we just.
Yeah. This is so secret that we don't even really understand what that is, but it sounds delicious. Chili crisp sauce? Are you crazy?
Sichuan?
Yeah.
And look,
crazy.
This is what's cool is that every month there's going to be a new small batch flavor. It just keeps me on edge in a way that I like.
Know. It's unbelievable. Look, you can buy this stuff. If you don't want to take advantage of those small batches, you can buy the big batches at Whole Foods and Sprouts and places like that. Trusted names in food delivery buying stores.
And if you want to look at the face that Doug was making just now, you can check out youtube.com/thepoundcast because there are video versions of this.
And, yes. We are also on Instagram, The Poundcast, Twitter, The Poundcast, and TikTok, The Poundcast. But look, the main thing you want to be worried about if you want to support us,
the main site you want to care about
is patreon.com/Poundcast. And if you go there, you will get access instantly to Poundcast Unzipped. That's where we continue talking after the main episode. And today we went on another 45 minutes bonus. This was a good one today. We kept talking today in the Unzipped section. How long was that, Brent? 45 minutes to an hour?
Probably something like that.
Yeah. And you can only get this if you sign up for our Patreon.
It was probably 45 Probably 45 minutes.
At least 45. Patreon.com/Poundcast.
Now, this this episode, let me say this. I actually have a game that I prepared that I didn't want to do on this because this is a Zoom episode, but we're going to be in the studio next week, and I thought maybe it'd be more fun to, if Aaron was in the mix on it, since it's kind of similar to the game that Doug did, the name the voice game a couple weeks ago. So I'm gonna save that, but that's something to look forward to next week.
Okay.
This week, we've this is our first episode we're recording that where Doug is back from his trip from Greece. So the bulk of the episode is probably about Doug's greasy trip.
Yeah, we get greasy. We talk about Doug's greasy trip. We also talk about airline stuff, which is so fun to talk about because there's a lot to talk about there. But today this is about my greasy trip.
It's about your greasy trip. And
we have a new old remix. Did I send you that?
Yes, we do. Let me just say this too. One other thing, we didn't get to this, and I feel bad, but there was one text message that came in that I forgot I was going to bring up, but we'll just remind me next week we'll address that. But okay. So we have a remix here and I think this got lost in the shuffle or something, but this is from Nick Doss, aka Dream TX, and who I think just is releasing an album this week, or it's out already.
Go to Dream TX, just like it sounds, the word dream and then tx.bandcamp.com. You can check him out. And he made this pretty cool remix that somehow we missed, but we're going to play it now.
Poundcast theme DOS. That's what it's called. So here it is.
All right, let's roll the clip.
Welcome to the Poundcast.
Welcome to the Poundcast.
Hello?
Welcome to the Poundcast.
Good, Doug. You're learning.
And we are live on the Poundcast. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to set a 2.5 minute timer so Brent can address the last episode, which is a very controversial episode. And I'm going to start the timer now.
Before we do start timers, I'm not saying anything yet. No, don't just pause the timer.
Well, that's the point of the timer, is to keep.
No. I'm not. I don't want to. I'm not addressing anything yet.
Okay.
And by the way, the timer was my idea. By the way, just so people know, and also Doug actually is the one who brought up that let's address the last episode. I wasn't even trying to even go there, but
then you said you had something to talk about.
Well, I said, hey, if you do want to address it, let's do that. But before we even address it, I do want to say this. It's kind of interesting. If that was a boring episode, or if that was whatever, that was the most conversed about episode that I think we've ever had. You know what I mean? It was the most active as far as crowd.
Well, Brent, input. This is something I was going to say in my 2.5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we're talking about that episode. That's the allotted time.
No, I thought.
Are you ready?
I thought we were in response. Am I going first, or do you want to go first? You go first.
Okay. And I won't even need 2.5 minutes. I was just going to say, there was a lot of comments. Last week's episode was very controversial, but as we've said on Office Hours, controversy creates conversation. And some people said it was the most boring episode, but then they said, I listened to the whole thing, and it was just, I did bring it up with a few friends, like since we recorded it, and it is weird how people really got into a conversation. You know, some people were like, I can't even answer the question, you know. And but all I want to say is that, you know, it's just an opinion. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule about when things are this or that when it comes to what time lunch is and what time dinner is. And a friend of mine said people just got to be meal fluid, which I thought was kind of funny. You know, you got to be meal fluid these days. Or you can also just say meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. If, like, in this day and age, maybe we don't need to have these labels of what the meal is called. You know, because like they have, if you go to Denny's, they have all day breakfast. You can get breakfast at midnight. Now, are you going to call that? There's no problem with breakfast. Why are we giving breakfast a pass, but lunch and dinner are so rigid, you know? So I think that's about it. And there's 45 seconds left, and I'm going to save you guys 45 seconds. My time's done.
Oh, okay, so now I have to beat that, actually, in a way.
You don't have to beat it, but
No, I know, I'm just
you
kidding.
have 2.5 minutes, and the timer starts now.
Just to address what you were saying about breakfast all day, I think really the point that we're trying to make, I'm trying to make, is that it's not about what kind of meal you eat at what time. It's about what time it is. So if you eat a sandwich at, say, 6 p.m., you're eating a lunch type item at dinner time, right? Or if you're eating a steak, you're eating that like a steak or something like that at noon or whatever. You're eating a dinner type item at lunch, you know. So it's about when lunchtime starts, or it's about when is lunchtime and when is dinner time, regardless of what meal you ate or how many lunches you're having or how many dinners you're having or whatever. Okay. I just want to say, I do think people are overthinking it a bit. I was trying to say was that if we agree on those parameters that I outlined in the beginning, which was that if just really simplifying things, just if we agreed that dinner was an evening meal, lunch is a daytime meal, and evening is 5 p.m. and on, which you did agree on at first, then just based solely on those parameters, that 4:30 would lunchtime, but would still constitute lunchtime. That's all I'm saying. And sure, there's other people can have personal feelings about it, and it's a subjective thing for people, and that's fine. And there's no argument there. People can feel, I feel 4:30. If you feel 4:30 is dinner time, hey, that's your thing. I was just saying, based on the parameters that I outlined, simply just based on that, it's lunchtime. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. If there's anything else, and I don't think me redefine. Wait, where am I at?
You got 47 seconds.
I'll let it go. That's fine. I'm going to beat you. I'll beat you then, actually. I'll beat you on time.
Well, now it's at 40.
Yeah, well, I was done anyway. Well, look, I'll just say, me modifying my thing is not like me taking early out of the equation. You made a good point that early means different things, or it can mean different things. It can mean before, or it could also mean the early part of something. So let's take early out of the equation. You know, it's like me modifying the question doesn't weaken my argument. It's just, anyway, whatever. That's it.
Okay. Still under time. We did it. What else is happening? So
so I have, before you, I know that we're going to get into your trip and stuff.
what do you got? You can't, you know, what do you got?
It's not that I think I might have even talked about it, but it's actually kind of an annoyance in a way. I don't know. It's just about how, well, whatever. Should I get into that right now, or?
Sure. I'm worried this is going to turn into a lunch versus.
It's not.
dinner.
It's not. There's nothing to debate. It's just. I'll just say this: I hate that you can't get the stuff that you like, that you're used to. They just go out of. I can't get white socks anywhere now. You know. Now you probably say, "Oh, look, you can find white socks everywhere." Not. They're all weird. The white socks are all weird. The ones you can get now, and I had finally found a white sock that I thought was good enough for me to switch over to. And then they stopped making that one. That was made by Hanes. And they stopped making it. What the heck? Why are people getting rid of white socks? They all have these heels on them, you know, the colored heels, and the colored toe with the colored heel. just give me the white socks that I always wore. What happened?
Well,
It's
let me
like
ask you this: if your sock is in a shoe most of the time, no one's seeing that sock, that heel.
well,
So
it depends.
it's almost like if the refrigerator door is closed, do the carrots care that there's no light on?
Well, that's the only reason I was able to accept Haines's the white sock that I liked, which was that said Hanes on the bottom of the toe. I said, well, I guess that's not really going to be seen, but I don't even like that. I want a pure white sock. And then or there's these weird socks. A lot of these socks have these weird different kind of patterns and stuff on them, like this mesh. There's a mesh thing. Just give me a simple sock, Gosh, why is it so hard? And other things that I like are different too. They don't make anymore. Like, okay, I'm wearing an undershirt right now for people who are watching this, right? This is a Fruit of the Loom shirt. I always got Fruit of the Loom undershirts, my whole life. And now you can't. You see how there's this extra material on the seam of the crew or whatever you call this, the neckline, the crew line, whatever. Can you see the extra material here?
It just looks like a stitching.
Well, there's an elevated. I don't know. There's a ridge,
There's
or
like a
something like
seam
that.
there. There's an
It's
extra.
like it's like it covers the seam or something like that. There used to be just the seam and that's it. But now there's this extra material. I don't want that. I don't want this extra bump here. Just give me the regular old seam. And you can't find undershirts like that anymore. That's.
Let
I don't
me
like.
ask you this: what is the real problem with that? Is it doesn't feel good,
I
or
think
is
it
just
doesn't.
not? You just want the things that they've been your whole life, and you can't. I bet if you grew up with that seam, you'd be happy with it.
Well, I don't like the way it looks. I don't like that there's this extra bump. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
so it's an aesthetic thing. It's not
yeah,
just that it's different.
yeah,
It's not just purely that it's different.
yeah, it's yeah. If I was wearing a shirt, I normally would wear a shirt over this, right? And so then you see, and you see the undershirt like in the middle, and I don't know. I just don't like that bump coming out. You know what I mean? It just makes the undershirt more. I don't know. It just makes it more noticeable in a way that doesn't look good or something.
I think you gotta get out there. You might have to just if you really care about this stuff, you might have to. There's a place called the T-Shirt Warehouse, I think, in Highland Park that I've been to, and they have all different kind of brands, just floor to ceiling of just T-shirts and long sleeve shirts, and plain. It's all plain stuff. They have some Dickies maybe, and I found a shirt that I like there, and it's American Apparel. I think the brand is back.
Oh yeah.
But it's like made in Canada or something. It's very strange.
Well, I look all over the. Oh, that's funny. Canadian.
You just might have to go. You
apparel.
might have to just pick a day, do a field trip, hit some spots. Maybe go to.
Well,
go check out some different brands. Maybe.
Well,
you'll find a new brand. Maybe you'll find a new brand that's your new Fruit of the Loom, and you could say goodbye to them. You could say, "Screw you, Fruit of the Loom, for putting that extra bump. I'm no longer." You just lost a customer.
What's weird is every major brand is doing the bump now. Hanes, whatever, all of them do the bump. And also, as far as the socks goes, I know people are going to say, you can't find a white sock. There's plenty of white socks. Not the kind of white socks that fit me the right way, which I'm going to share a real quick picture here for the watchers of what the best socks are.
I'll describe it.
These were the best socks. This is not a name brand sock. It's Basic Editions. This is from Kmart, I think. These were my best socks. I still have pairs of these that have holes in them now, but this was the best sock.
Yeah. Well, have you searched that sock? Maybe there's on eBay.
Absolutely.
People have old stock of them or something.
I have indeed. Trust me. I've looked everywhere. I've looked for old stock. And by the way, I got old stock of the kind of undershirt that I like several years ago, and I have those. I have some of those that I haven't even used yet because I'm trying to let it ride. But yeah, now Hanes did do a sock that was like this, but it did say Hanes on the bottom of them. But I was willing to go for that. But they stopped making those recently, very recently this year. They stopped. It's unavailable now. That's annoying.
I think when you find something you like, maybe you just got to stock up for life. Kind of like
yes.
Reeboks,
No, I know. That's what we've come to. The world is always changing, and I don't like change.
Well,
It's an
thanks,
aesthetic thing, honestly.
Thanks, Obama.
Change.org? No, I want to go to consistency.org. I want to go to same.org.
Maybe you're a conservative at heart. That's what conservatives do. They want to conserve the way things were, the way things used to be. Like maybe that's kind of like maybe that's what you
I
want.
relate to that in some sense. Yeah, sure.
How about maybe you're socially liberal, but like sexually conservative?
Soxually and shirtsily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, certainly soxually. Yeah.
Undergarmently conservative.
Yeah. I mean, I am conservative in certain ways, definitely.
Sure. I think I am too.
I mean, I'm against drugs and alcohol, that's conservative,
Well, I don't know. They like their alcohol.
I think as far as styles go, I kind of like more plain, I like more conservative styles in a way, than funky kind of styles,
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Well, this is kind of something I thought about recently. When you brush your teeth, how do you rinse out after you brush?
That's a good question. Sort of. I mean, just because I have a special way that I rinse.
Ooh, I'd like to hear it.
I have these little kind of Dixie cup kind of cups that I have.
Mm-hmm.
They're not I don't think they're Dixie brand, but they're these little cups. And I'll use the cup for the.
Do you have do you have like a
dispenser?
A dispenser like you're at the dentist office?
Not exactly, but I do have a stack of them up on this sort of I don't know, counter kind of a thing. There's a stack. I have a stack about, I don't know, 8 of them or something, and I use one over the course of maybe a few days until it's at a state where I have to. It's not really usable anymore.
Are you stacking them upside down?
Yeah, they're stacked upside down, and then I just
the bottom
take
one.
it off.
You're just never going to use the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like basically like the holder,
Yeah, for sure.
And then I just take one off the top. But like I said, I'm able to use it for about a few days. I'm able to use it for about 6 rinses. until the cup just becomes a little because they're paper cups.
Well, yeah. You know what? I'm surprised you use them more than once. But you rinse the cup out probably and just set it there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I mean, I just grew up, you put your head down on the sink.
Oh, you do it that way?
I've done that my whole life, and I've just used to doing that. And I'm thinking,
that seems a little
in this day and age, why are we still doing that? Like, we're all brushing our teeth and rinsing it out. I don't keep a cup in there. I don't have to like do dishes. Or sometimes I'll just stick the brush in and get it wet and kind of like rinse it. You get a little bit of water in the bristles and you kind of redo it till it's kind of like empty.
Huh.
But I'm thinking, how come there's not like a little water fountain spout for the toothbrush rinse out? What are you going to do? Go over to the kitchen sink or get you know what I mean? It just seemed like that should be a common little add-on to or a little way to turn the sink. You twist it. I think I might have seen this. I think it does exist, but it's just a very niche item where like you can aim the flow of the thing to go upward and turn it into a fountain. It just seems like in this day and age, we be doing that.
Sort of a bidet for your mouth.
Yeah.
Like a mouth bidet.
Mouth bidet. You could probably just maybe use the same bidet. Just turn it up a little higher, and then you can stand back.
You just put the blast on harder, and then it'll probably it'll go further than where your butt is and up to where your mouth is.
Put the blast on harder. This isn't a big topic. This is
just put your mouth in the toilet. I mean, just you put your head in the toilet and just get your head in the toilet.
I bet a lot of people do that little sideways head lean down.
That seems so uncomfortable and hard to get your head in there. Actually, I think I'm
just so used to it. I don't even think about it. But then I'm like, why do I do this? This is weird.
Well, you know who I saw do that? I saw Karen Culkin's character on Succession do that move.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a couple things that I noticed about that scene. There was a scene of him waking up in the morning, and he did that. He rinsed his mouth out with the sink that way, where he just reached his head in there. But I also noticed that when he was brushing his teeth, he kept the water, he kept the water off and then only put the water on to, rinse the toothbrush off or whatever. And I thought, that's interesting that he's being conservative with the water, being, kind of the character that he is, and being kind of, rich and kind of a selfish kind of character or whatever.
Well, I wonder if that's like, if they did that on purpose to like subtly show a little bit of his character.
I wondered
Deep
that.
down, he's kind of like
cares about the environment.
He's got less of a sociopath kind of guy that they also.
I thought that. I thought, did they do that on purpose? I thought, does he does actually show some qualities of, some redeeming qualities in the show, but I thought, was that on purpose? And I looked everywhere on the internet for people talking about that, about him being conservative with the water, and nobody was talking about it. And I talked about it with somebody else, and they said, I think that just the actor didn't think, they just told him, okay, brush your teeth, and then the actor did what he normally does, and that maybe nobody was really being fastidious about that.
Is the directing and stuff, is it that granular where they're like,
right,
here's the action, you turn it on, then you turn it off? Because like for me, I definitely turn it off in between, like that kind of like, I've seen people just running it.
No,
I know it's not the end of the world. It's like whatever, water's wasted a million times more on a golf course, but something about that, like when I see that happening, like I'm guilty. The damn thing off.
I'm guilty of forgetting sometimes. I do try to turn it off, but sometimes I forget, or something happens where I just for some reason do leave it on, and I don't mean to, but even I forget. And I thought, wow, this what's his name, Roman Roy, he's being more conscientious than I'm being. And I thought, wow, okay. No, I sometimes can forget and just leave it running,
Okay, well, let's move on.
But by the way, I just want to say real quick, one other thing. What I used to do is I used to just fill my hands up and go like that.
Dude. Okay, yeah. So I know people that do that. Because somebody lives here with me. My friend's staying here right now.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes the kitchen sink is just covered in like drips and water all over the place. I'm like, what are you doing here? Are you just opening a can, shaking a can of LaCroix and just spraying it? Or I'm like, what's going on?
Uh-huh.
I'm like, wipe it down. And he said, he's right over there. He said, he's like, when I rinse out he goes, I go like this when I'm rinsing out my mouth with it, cup my hand, and then it, of course, just splashes all over the place. I'm like, what? We gotta have a set of glass. I think that's just what's gonna happen. We gotta have a little set of glasses in there, mouth rinsers.
Yeah, well, or cup. You can get little paper cups. Well, maybe you don't want it. Maybe
or something. I mean, whatever.
Paper or something. Yeah,
like we could. Yeah, those little Dixie cups. That'd be kind of cool.
And again, you can use those.
I just don't want any more clutter. I'm trying to have less clutter. Look at this clutter all over.
Yeah, well, I actually sometimes when I wash my face at night, that can get kind of, there can be a lot of wetness in a lot of places from that, but I just usually just wipe up after that, so that it's not as wet everywhere.
Yeah,
when you go to
I installed a little side hook next to my sink, and there's a little wipe down towel there.
Oh, yeah,
and that's not for hands. That's not for anything. It's just purely wiping down the sink.
Yeah, basically when you wash your face, going poo is not the only activity in the bathroom that requires wiping.
Pretty much it all does.
All the bathroom activities are going to involve wiping.
And you know what else I realized recently? I don't need these bottles of Dr. Bronner's or bottles of liquid soap, bottles of shampoo. I don't need any of it. You know what I need? All I need is one thing that does it all, and that's a bar of soap. I could wash my hair with a bar of soap. I could wash everything with a bar of soap. And it's just a bar of soap. You don't have a big plastic bottle you got to like throw out. Bar of soap's done. Grab a next bar. It's got to be a good. It's got to be a good bar. You can't wash your hair with any old bar of soap. Because when I was traveling, I was doing that. Some of those bars of soap, they ain't right.
Oh, sure. They don't
Yeah.
go down smooth.
You got to get a good quality bar of
They,
soap.
they don't rub you smooth the way they should. You know, some of them got to have a rougher kind of friction on your body.
Well,
for
no, if
some
I'm
reason.
washing, it's like if I'm washing my hair with the same bar of soap, some of those turn my hair into like a, it just feels like a greasy, like rat's nest.
Hmm.
It's not smooth.
Oh, I see. Okay. Hey, you're pretty busy these days, huh, Doug?
I certainly am, Brent, especially with it being summer. You know how I like my volleyball and my skateboarding and my beaches.
Yeah, well, I know how it is. And it can be hard to make time to cook. But the thing is, with Factor, America's #1 ready to eat meal kit, you can fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track reaching your goals.
That sounds great, Brent. I can skip the extra trip to the grocery store and the chopping, the prepping, and the cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality that I crave. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat and enjoy.
Factor uses high quality ingredients such as broccolini, leeks, asparagus. They have 34 plus weekly restaurant quality options like bruschetta shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, and grilled steakhouse filet mignon. There's all kinds of options on the menu each week to fit a variety of lifestyles, from keto to calorie smart, vegan, plus vegetarian, and protein plus.
You can also mix it up and add a protein to a vegan or a veggie meal. You can do what you want when you want.
What a time saver Factor is. And with meals like grain bowls and salad toppers, those are ready to go, no microwave required. So I now look,
What'd you do, Brent?
well, I had a couple meals already actually from Factor.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the cheddar chicken with pimento cauli mash. Okay. It was tasty. And, you know, as you'd expect, it was ready to go, you know. And if you don't care even about heating things up, it's really ready to go, you know. And I don't know. It was just definitely just, it was good. And it was definitely an easy option. You know, if you know if I was busy and you know I wanted to eat something quick and good, you know, and look, there's no cleanup thing. I mean, you just I love that
I
too.
mean that is huge. That is awesome. How quick you can just clean it right up, Brent. Because I'm looking at this menu thinking 3-bean vegan chili with cornbread casserole and tofu based crema.
I want that. Give me that. Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
No,
sounds good.
that's all for me.
I want
Garlic,
that.
garlic and herb roasted mushrooms with olive oil, mashed potatoes, roasted green beans, and tomatoes. Look, Brent,
Those are vegan meals.
yeah,
right
those are
there.
those are the vegan, some of the vegan ones I'm picking here. They also have Thai roasted vegetable green curry with coconut lime rice. Okay.
Sounds
Now I
good.
can't stop thinking about these meals I want to eat right now, Brent, because I'm
God.
going to head to factormeals.com/poundcast50 and use the code poundcast50 to get 50% off.
That's code Poundcast50 at factormeals.com/Poundcast50 to get 50% off. So,
Yeah. So, okay. So look, I went to Greece. Here's what happened. Earlier this year, my friend Yvette, shout out to Yvette Paxinos and her partner Jem. It was her birthday and she sent me a invite. She's like, I'm having come to my birthday party in Greece on this island, Ithaca. And I was thinking, that would be crazy to just go to Greece to go to this birthday party on an island. I'd never been to Greece and kind of had it in the back of my mind. I was trying to get some friends to go. And it didn't seem like it was going to happen. But at the last minute, my friends, Molly and Nicole, they were like, we're going to be in Europe. Let's come out. We'll go to this party in Greece. So I went, and it was awesome. But a few funny things happened.
Wait, why was it awesome before the funny stuff? Or was it awesome because it was funny?
Well, I just, it's just fun to go to a new place, and it's kind of like this adventure. You had to go to Athens, and I had to rent a car. So like right when I get there, I was in charge of renting the car. They were meeting me up with me. Um, they're coming from different places. They're all coming from different places, meeting me there. So I was in charge of getting the car.
Did you fly there by yourself?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, first I stopped in Boston for a few days.
Oh yeah.
It's kind
You
of like
hung
an
out with
extended layover.
you hung out with your skateboarder guys?
Yeah, Nick Murray.
Mhm.
He was been on the Poundcast, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and my friend Matt met me there, and that was really fun too. Boston is. I never thought Boston. I always thought it wasn't shit, but it was because whenever we would go there, we were like into like the business district, I guess, of town, and I didn't understand the appeal. But
We
this
went to
time,
Cambridge. We went to Cambridge.
Cambridge seemed pretty cool. But this time we were in Jamaica Plain. That's a really nice neighborhood. A lot of parks. It was just very green, and we went to a pond and went swimming and stuff. It was
Yeah,
cool.
as a conservative, I prefer Jamaica Plain to as opposed to Jamaica Funky.
Yeah. So then, anyway, so then I flew from there to Athens, and I think in the future, if I ever do these trips where I'm going far away, these long days of flying, which was like on the way back, Athens to LA, pretty much.
Hmm.
That was too long of traveling.
And do you
Anyway,
talk to the
in the
people?
future, I'm gonna like make it be where I'm gonna only fly so long and then stay somewhere for like a day or two, and then fly to the next location.
Are you friendly to the people on the plane? That you're next to or stuff like that? Or you just kind of coop up, just do
Not
your
at
own
all.
thing?
No, I don't want to be talking to anybody. I got my entertainment planned out. I have things downloaded on my laptop. I got crosswords. I got books I want to read. I just want to be in. I don't want to small talk. That's a crapshoot,
Mhm.
because then you might be stuck trying to get out of a conversation with someone.
Well, it's an easy thing to do. Just people
I
know.
mean,
I
I'm
mean, you
not a
just
brick wall. I'm not a brick wall. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
well, no. What I mean is to get out of a thing. If you are talking to somebody and you kind of feel like, okay, I don't really feel like talking to them anymore or whatever, you could say, well, I'm going to go watch this movie now. You could just say that. Well, I guess I'm going to go watch this movie now. But it's nice talking to you, or whatever you're going to do, or I'm going to just do these crosswords.
right. I'm not against it. Just on this trip, it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Sometimes you
yeah.
meet someone that are kind of interesting, and maybe you have something in common. You know, maybe they got a cool, funky look that you like, and you get like,
Or a cool plane
or
look.
something about them. You're like, maybe they're say, I don't know, if they had a skateboard, I'd be like, oh, you're gonna go skating out there or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, that wasn't the case. And actually, I lucked out. I had a whole row to myself.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You kind of spread out a little bit.
Yeah, it was yeah, you put the bag on the seat next to you, and I got all my
You
stuff.
just went? Did you go spread eagle?
Oh, here's another thought. On the way to Europe, you're in the big boy plane, where there's like two seats next to the window, and then the big section in the middle is like four, and then there's two more. So
Yeah.
it just the whole thing is more spacious. And when you're flying, it just seems more smooth. There was like no turbulence the whole way from like Boston. There's a couple of bumps coming in and out, but those big planes, that's the plane I want to ride on. It's like, can I take every flight? I know it's wasteful, but can I take every flight? It's almost like getting a limo or something. It would be
Isn't it
nice.
amazing that something that big it can be up in the sky?
Dude, I couldn't believe it. The amount of people waiting to get on the plane. I'm like, all these people, this one plane is gonna fly. It's like a town's, it was like a town of people.
It's kind of like the Starship Enterprise or something like that. You know, when you got a whole community in the space.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
How's that? Isn't that amazing?
It was unbelievable, Brent.
And that's been going on for decades.
Decades. Yeah. So I like that plane. You know, I'm kind of over being nervous on planes, I guess, because I've been after all these flights and stuff. I'm just sort of like, I'm like, whatever. But that plane, that was chill, you know. I watched a couple movies. I didn't watch that many movies.
Which
But
ones?
anyway, so okay, I land in Athens. I didn't really plan, you know. I'm kind of like, I was just so busy leading up to it. I didn't really plan on too much. I kind of wrote down the car. Actually, I didn't really write down the car info. I just thought there'd be Wi-Fi at the. I land there. Basically, there's no Wi-Fi. I was like walking around. I'm like, where's the car rental? I saw there was car rentals, but they were all like budget and like brands. I bought some other brand that's not one of them. And I couldn't figure out which one it was. Then I finally went inside and I was able to look it up on my email without Wi-Fi. And then, okay, then it said I had to get on to find the shuttle. The shuttle was by the tourist buses. I went to where the tourist buses were. I saw the shuttle with my name on it. It was just like the guy driving that bus, his hands, he was fixing like there was a van broken down next to him with the tire missing, and he was helping some guy like change their tire, and his hands were all covered in grease. I'm like, hey, I think you're my thing. And then he drove me like really far away from the airport to like no man's land to pick up the car. And I didn't get the cheapest car. I thought I learned my lesson before. Remember when we got that, like the cheapest one? We're in the longest line. It was like bad service. The last time we like went on a little tour, I remember that. I'm like, it's worth it to pay a little more and not deal with whatever this crap is. So anyway,
it wasn't the
and then our
cheapest
car was crap, and then our car sucked, and then we got the flat tire. There was no spare tire. Like,
Well, that wasn't that. No, that was a different car when we had to do the flat tire. I think the very last time we went, I don't know. It's a little bit of a blur to me, but I think the idea was that, yeah, we were in line, this long line, because it was the cheaper company, but that it wasn't about the cheaper car. It was the cheaper company, but we should have just.
I think there's just several experiences now where like you definitely get what you pay for with the rental car. You might be getting a cheaper rate, but you're going to pay for it in other ways. So then I get there, and when I get to the rental place, there's like two guys and a woman and some kids, and they are dressed funky, like real funky. They're like older. They're like in their 50s, and they have like little round glasses and like bleached hair and like funky shirts. And they're having this argument with the guy behind the counter, and they have thick accents, but they're speaking in English. I don't know where they're from, Germany or Eastern Europe or something.
Or they could have been from
they're
the
like,
South.
we need to take the bus to the thing. And the guy's like, you don't yell at me like that. You know, like the guy behind the counter. And I'm like, oh my God. So then like the guy's yelling at them. He's like, you can't yell at me like that. I'll get you. You get out of here now. And he goes, sir, have you been helped yet? You know, he like turns to me, switches like into nice guy. And I'm like, no, I haven't. He's like, oh, right this way.
You should have said, no, I haven't. Are you going to help me right now or not?
Right.
You know, you start talking with an accent.
You just blend in with the other tourists that are like all pissed off. Yeah, they were going Karen on this guy. I don't know what was going on. So I'm like thinking, yeah, and then the office was just like kind of busted. You know, it just like this junky office. It wasn't clean. The sofa was kind of like busted down. Anyway,
it was all cummed out. The sofa.
It was all jizzed out. Yeah.
Jizzed out. That's what I meant. Yeah.
So anyway, it was fine. I got the car, and then my phone wouldn't work. I asked that I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't prepare. My phone wasn't working. I'm kind of like way out in the outskirts, outside of the airport, outside of the city. And then the car said like, it had the check engine on there, and it was like one of the tires was low, like service immediately, like right away. It's a stick shift. It was fine, but I was just driving round and round. Like I was
Wait, did you
trying
get
to,
it serviced?
no, but I brought it into a gas station. I looked at the tires. They all looked perfectly fine. And I just wanted to get to the Airbnb. I just wanted to get out of there. I was traveling for a long time. I just wanted to get out. So I try to find this story's boring, whatever. Everything finally worked out. The point is, next time I'm going to like prepare a little better. But a couple funny things happened.
Oh, I thought that was one. I thought that's what one of the funny things
well,
was.
that kind of reminded me. I was just thinking back on what happened. Yeah, so it was, I don't want everything to be so planned out. I guess it was kind of an adventure because I'm driving around. I didn't know which way was what. I was just looking for a place that had Wi-Fi or a place that had a SIM card. Because last time I went to Europe, I just bought a SIM card for like $5-10 and it lasted. I just put that in my phone and my phone worked perfect. So some guy at the gas station is like, yeah, down that road, you'll see a cell phone place or whatever. I drive down, and right when I'm pulling up, I see a guy locking the door, and it's 2:30 p.m. And I'm like, are you closed? And he's like, yeah, come back at 5:30. And then I'm driving around just like in circles. I see another place, and the shutters are coming down. They're like closing down. I'm like, what is going on? Why is every place closing at 2:30? I guess they do like siestas there or something, like Spain does. So then I kind of gave up on that. And then I went to a Wi-Fi place, and I was able to at least get like roaming on my phone, which is expensive. And then at least I was able to like look at the map and find how to get to the
Airbnb.
To the Airbnb. My mind is like, maybe the story's boring and I'm kind of like spacing. I'm kind of boring myself.
Well, what's the funny stuff here? Tell me about the funny stuff.
Okay, well, I met my friends. We went to a place to eat, and the waiter was really nice, and he gives us he's like, here's your ashtray. Do you want this? And we're like, no, we don't smoke. And he's like, why not? It's one of those places where like a lot of people smoke,
It's one of those places where it's required.
It's
No,
required.
I'm just kidding.
It's like a big. And then I was thinking maybe places where people smoke a lot are like places that are like exciting to visit. I was trying to make a correlation. If people are smoking, then it's a cool place.
I hate that about that. There are, there's pretty much, in the United States now, you can't smoke anywhere indoors now, I think. But, I remember in the 2000s, you could still smoke indoors in certain places, and I really I hate that. That's a change I like, is that smoking is not allowed. But you go to foreign countries. When I went to Egypt a few years ago, same thing. As if we went out somewhere, there was, at night, there's going to be smoking. You're going to smell it. You're going to be covered in cigarette smell. At that. And I thought,
we didn't really. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't.
Well, I don't want to be covered in cigarette smoke. I mean, I was there. There were times. It was like the heat wave, right? And Greece is a very hot place, so every restaurant is all outdoors anyway. So it wasn't as bad as being like indoors with smoking, which I saw too. But
it's so crazy. Remember in the 80s how, there used to be smoking sections on the plane, which is, how do you do that, really? You know what I mean? Remember that? And then there used to be
remember those, sometimes you get on a plane and there's still an ashtray on the on the armrest.
Yeah, but it's also crazy is how are you going to contain smoke on a plane? You know what I mean? How are you going to create sections? I mean, basically, if there's a smoking section on an airplane, the whole plane is a smoking section.
Yeah.
But I do remember actually going to the bathroom or something and walking into the smoking section. It definitely it was more heavy. I remember it being a pretty heavy feeling going into the smoking section, but still, yeah, that's a change for the better. The
Yeah.
crackdown on
Well,
smoking.
at first I was thinking, oh, this place is cool because people are smoking, even though I don't really prefer that. But then I thought, what makes a place cool to visit for me is if it's real bikeable, and that wasn't really a bikeable
Mm,
kind of city.
mm.
So anyway, that was one little thing, and then we went to visit the Acropolis, which is the big famous
I've been there.
ancient ruins. Yeah, you've been there, and so there's a stairway going up to it, marble, and I think millions of people have been walking on these stairs for like decades, centuries.
Decades. Yeah, and many people have been walking on this staircase for days, weeks.
No, they were all worn down. Like even the cobblestones leading up to it were shiny and smooth down.
Mhm.
So whatever, I'm walking down the stairs. We went there later in the day because it was so hot. I think it closed at 7 p.m. So we're like exiting with like hordes of people, thousands of people, perhaps hundreds for sure. And I slip on the stairs and I fall down the stairs, like 4 stairs. Like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like I slipped backwards and put my hands down. So I'm kind of like in the crab walk position, just like going like down many stairs. And it was like,
That's really
it
scary.
wasn't like a little trip. It was like everyone turned and looked.
Whoa. Gosh.
I land on the ground. And since I skateboard, I'm always landing on the ground. It wasn't a big deal or anything for me, but it looked, people were like, oh, and what I did was I stood up and did the Olympic like dismount. Like I put my hands up into the sky.
I see. Yeah.
And then I turned to the others. Then I turned in reverse and I did it to the other. You know how like when they do a dismount on the Olympic
Yeah.
gymnastics, I put my hands up. I faced the other way. I put my hands up. Everyone applauded. They were just like, yay. And then I'm traveling with these 2 girls, right? My platonic friends, by the way.
Mhm.
And they get a lot of attention from the guys. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, you okay, man? Or whatever. I'm like, yeah, thanks. And then he immediately, like, I think that was his in to start talking to
That's
the
funny.
2 girls I was with. And he's this really handsome dude. He was like an Israeli actor, and he's just traveling around, and he had his book with him, and he looked like James Franco. He straight up looked like he could be a James Franco like stunt double lookalike guy. So he's talking to them, and like now we're walking, and we got this guy with us, and and they're all, my friends were like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm going to a rooftop restaurant where there's live music. And they're like, does that mean we can join too? And I'm thinking, I want to get rid of this guy. So anyway, like we went to this rooftop restaurant. Yeah.
Just a quick question. I'm just curious. Are those 2 the girls that you're with? Are they single, or are they what's going on with them? I'm just curious. Yeah.
One of them definitely is.
And oh, you mean after this trip, because of James Franco?
At that,
No, at the time of James. At the time of James Franco.
At the time of the James Franco incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay. I mean, I kind of have
Yeah.
more questions, but I don't want to get into anything too.
I mean,
risque.
you have to ask them. You've met
I can ask.
Molly. Have you met Molly before?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Nicole, her friend Nicole. My friend Nicole. Our friend.
I think so. Yeah, I think. Maybe.
Um,
I guess I'm just curious if is there an element of, are you interested at all? You say platonic friends, but if one of them's single and I don't know, and then there's guys hitting on them, I guess, or whatever, are you feeling?
No, I wasn't like jealous or anything. I was just like, he just didn't seem like the kind of like.
But they're kind of interested in him, though. It seems, yeah.
Look, I'm exaggerating for maybe story purposes. I didn't really care that much, but I'm like, it was just sort of like, we're this friend group and now we got this stranger and they seem to be like enamored with him a little bit.
That's what I'm saying is they seem into him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was just, we were just hanging out with this stranger for a minute. We went up to a restaurant with him and he like knew the waiter. Like the waiter comes over, he's like, "Hey man, welcome back." And they give each other like this little secret handshake and stuff. I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, he's talking to them. He's like, "Yeah, I'm an actor. I do this and that." And they go, "Oh, Doug's an actor too." I'm like trying to like, I don't want, like he seemed friendly enough, but he just didn't seem like the kind of funny kind of person that I like to hang out with, like maybe not much in common for me to really discuss with him. And you know what he said to me? He's like, "Oh, you're an actor too? You look like the guy from Game of Thrones."
I don't why I've never seen that show, but is he's talking about Peter Dinklage?
Yeah. And I'm like, "Oh, the little guy?" He's like, "Yeah."
Oh my God, that is so funny, man.
And I go, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man. He's a great actor. He's really handsome too." Like I think he was trying to like diss me or something, like
That's really funny.
or he felt threatened by me. That I don't know.
Whoa, man, that's really funny and a real kind of that's a real thing to say, I mean,
Yeah.
that is, but I'm glad you kind of came back. So you felt like he was dissing you, and then you kind of came back at it with an approach that was pretty cool, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, I was just like, "Thanks, man. He's really handsome." And
Did you laugh when he said that?
No,
Were you insulted?
I played it cool. I'm not really insulted. I don't, like I'm not insulted.
I mean, he's basically kind of was he kind of saying you look like a dwarf?
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, it's kind of like what we wrote it in Poundhouse. That was, like Nick Rutherford's character called, you know what I mean? And it's like, this guy's doing it for real, basically, in a way. That's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Anyway, that's not, the story didn't lead into much more than that.
That'd be funny if you said,
like,
"Oh, you think so? I'm trying to look like Peter Dinklage."
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
trying.
thanks, man. I'm actually trying to look like Peter Dinklage.
Actually,
man.
I thought of the best burn like after the fact, like that I
Yeah.
could have come back with.
Yeah.
I hate that when you like you're in these moments,
Yeah.
but then like later you think of the ultimate comeback.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate comeback would have been like, "Oh yeah, you remind me of Reek from Game of Thrones.
I don't know.
He's this guy that had his dick cut off that turned into this like sniveling, like pathetic, like worm guy. Like he's a handsome, he was like this handsome, like, I don't know what he was, like a prince or something, but then he got his dick cut off and then he was just like this sniveling, like pathetic, like loser dude.
But
that would have been the ultimate comeback.
Well, his comeback would have been, yeah, pre dick cut off, pre castration, right?
Well, I think his name was different than this one guy called him Reek after that.
Oh, okay. That's funny, man. That is really funny.
No,
that
I just,
that.
I'm trying to live my life where I'm not offended or not like. I was just trying to be friendly and I don't know. It was fine. Maybe he didn't even mean anything by it. Maybe he did. I don't know.
That's just really funny. He was a handsome guy, a hunk. Oh, here's a question that made me think of. You know how you said he's not the kind of guy you like to hang out with. He's not joking around and stuff. And part of that is maybe because he's a bit of a hunk, right? And I guess my question is, are there any hunks that you find fun to hang out with that are funny and cool?
It's not about his looks at all. It was just about, you could tell he was trying to be impressive and, say, "I'm traveling. I like, it's just like the vibe he was giving off.
Mm-hmm.
I hang out with hunks all the time.
Oh, yeah? Besides myself, are there any hunks that are cool?
I don't know.
Are there? I'm just trying to think if there's any real hunks that
I guess I don't really think about it like that. Do
I guess
hang
my
out, do I
friend-
hang out with a straight up hunk? Do I do that?
Yeah. Do you have any hunks in your life that you are pretty close with? I come to think of it, I would say that I have a friend named Rob. Well, you've met him before. I do that Legacy Music Hour podcast with him.
Mhm.
He's a bit of a hunk, I would say, and he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, and he's funny too. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I have a friend, John. You know John. I don't know if I should say his last name, but we've been to his parties before, maybe.
Yeah. I know who he is. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And he's straight up like a model.
Okay, he's different than a hunk, I would say, because he is a model kind of guy. He is a model, but when I'm thinking of
When you
hunk,
think
I'm
hunk,
thinking
you're
of
thinking like guys that
little-
hit the gym that are like built.
a little bit, and I'm also thinking because I feel like Franco is a bit of a hunk, because he's got a little bit of a build that just feels a little more hunky than, I don't know, someone who's just a model, or something like that. No
Well,
disrespect to
I don't
John.
really-
I
I don't really judge people. I don't really think about it. I mean, this is the first time I've even thought about that. I don't really think about people's looks it's more when I'm hanging out with friends, especially like
that's the only thing I think about is their looks.
right.
You know what I mean? It's
like
what-
if a new guy wants to come hang out in the friend group, you're just like you're looking him
I'm-
up and
how
down
bi-
like
I'm looking at how many does he have? Yeah, I'm looking at the size of his, crotch area. How many
Mhm.
packs does he have on the stomach?
the bulge.
I'm thinking of what, let me see let me get I get my my tape measure out, to measure his biceps, I want to, that's all very important, and when it comes to girls, it's, hey, how big is her bust? How big is what's the waist look like? These are all important things, how puckered are those lips?
You know what else happened? 2 people called me ma'am.
Were they by people who were trying to impress your friends that are girls, your girlfriends?
No, they both took place in the airport or on a plane.
That's so funny, man. That's really funny.
Like, do I look like I mean, I had a pretty much like a beard too.
Well, they might have just thought you were
Like I was wearing these glasses. I'm like this. I'm sitting on the plane, and the flight attendant comes up, and she's like, "You need anything to drink, ma'am?" And then she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I just woke up." We were on an 11-hour flight.
Wait. She was not a Greek woman?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, look, Doug, I could sort of in some ways sort of see how someone could, I guess, think you were maybe more
Like I got
of
like
a,
an Ellen DeGeneres vibe.
a butchy, maybe.
What do I gotta do?
butchier-
What do I gotta do? Should I shave my head? I look like this. What's up?
No.
You want to fuck with me, bro?
What if you're slicking your hair back? Yeah.
Maybe I should start slicking it back. Maybe I just got to start slicking it back.
That's just a funny idea, though. That the idea that maybe
I have
maybe
another
a
story.
butchier.
I don't think I look like my age range. And I have a funny story about that, even funnier. And I'm going to save that for Unzipped.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Wait till you
So,
hear
wait,
this.
who was the other person who called you man besides the stewardess?
You know when you're scanning into the plane, you're queued up, and then boarding group 4, and then you beep in, beep beep, you beep in your ticket, right?
Yeah. Okay.
It was that person, the beep beep person.
Uh-huh.
They have a good flight, ma'am, or whatever, and I'm like, huh? Then they apologized, but also I don't. It doesn't offend me. It's not. I just wrote it down. I thought it was funny, like 2 in one day.
In the same day?
Yeah, in the same day.
I'm kind of into it too, actually. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care.
I don't care. I mean, the way to live your life is not be offended by things like that. And
Well, if it's a genuine mistake, I care a little bit if it's a blatant diss, I guess, you know. But
Right, if it's a blatant diss, but even if it's a blatant diss, why get offended? Like, why? I don't know. I mean, trying to like live my
well, but
life
here's
in
what
this
it's not
way where
offensive.
it's
It's
like
just it's a little outrageous when someone's being a jerk, you know. I mean, I don't know. It's
it's
just
hard
sort
not
of
to get offended sometimes if you're really truly being. I mean, when James Franco called me the imp, like I just more thought it was funny. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm short. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's on him. That's his insecurity. That's like calling like doing that to me. Like, what do I care?
yeah. I guess it's just sort of. I, I just it's more just shock. I mean, wow, someone's actually gonna be like that. I can't believe that someone's gonna be like that. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not that I care because I can't believe people are like that. You know, that people are willing to be mean like that. You know, like when I there were, I remember I did Conan a long time, 2011, and I remember somebody went through the trouble of finding me on Facebook and messaging me personally, and it was this woman that was this, middle-aged woman, or I don't know, she's probably in her 50s or something, and she messaged me to say how bad my set or how much she didn't like the set. It's one thing to just not think it's funny or whatever, but to go out of your way to find someone to say that. And she kind of was saying, man, that was, you took minutes of my life away or something like that or whatever. And I kind of I wrote her back and I just said, wow, that's really mean, something like that. And then she actually ended up apologizing, and she kind of kept in touch with me for a few years and just like was wishing me happy holidays and things like that. It was kind of interesting how that worked out, but I just couldn't believe she apologized sometime later saying she was going through a bad time in her life, and I don't know, but it was just, I don't know, it's just crazy to me when people, I guess that's one way to look at it, is when people are being mean. Yeah, I guess one way to look at it is, okay, that person must just have some issues or something to
Well,
be like
yeah,
that.
there's a phrase, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, right,
So if
right,
somebody
right.
is going out of their way to hurt someone, then they're not they're not in a good place. They're not a happy person. They're filled with anger, resentment about something else, and they're projecting it onto you. And like I went through that big time when I opened up for Tenacious D last year.
Oh, really?
I mean, oh my God, you should see some of the tweets that were coming at me. One
Jeez.
guy just like, I did get a Facebook message too. Somebody like
Uh-huh.
decided to log into the computer,
To
find me
look
on
for the
Facebook,
to
and
look for
send
you.
me just something real rotten, like
Right.
um whatever it was. It was like, you fucking suck, go kill yourself or something. Just like
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah,
And I'm
what's
like, oh,
up?
because it's just so crazy. I see things I don't like all the time, and I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I can't imagine going through the trouble.
Going through the trouble.
But yeah, a similar thing happened on Twitter. I decided to respond to one of the guys, but I didn't say, the first reaction you get is just sort of like, fuck you then, or something. But I didn't do that. I was like, I think I said, look, that was the first show of the tour. I had sound issues, and you know, I forgot what I said. I was like, yeah, maybe it didn't connect with everyone. I feel like people in the back couldn't hear me as well. It was the first show. I was sort of feeling out what jokes were going to work with this. I've never performed in front of this many people, and this is a different crowd than I'm used to. And he was like, oh man, like, I love Tim and Eric, and I loved a lot of stuff you've done before. Then all of a sudden he was nice, and we kind of like worked it out.
Mhm.
And he was like, peace out, man. I'm gonna delete the original tweet or something like that. I just kind of hit him back with like, just sort of talking to him as a person, like kind of what you did with that lady. You're like, like that
But
hurt
that
my
approach doesn't
feelings.
always work, by the way. I mean, I have there was one other guy. It was so weird. He saw me in Edinburgh. And this is in 2014, and he just kept on talking crap to me. And I actually was ignoring it for a while. And then I kind of just said, I kind of basically said what gives. It's weird because he bought a shirt too, actually.
What?
But yeah, I don't get it. But it didn't work. The idea of being kind of asking him why is he being so mean, it didn't really work. He just laid into it more. He said, well, you should know that you suck or whatever. He just kept on going with it. It didn't really so it doesn't work with everybody to sort of try to connect to them on some human level. They still just don't. I don't know. It's weird why people are like that, though. What are they thinking? Some people are just kind of crazy, I guess, too. Maybe
maybe that guy
maybe,
is just
maybe he was having a psychotic break or something.
Could just be a lot of times when people are super upset about something that other people do, it's maybe because they see a little bit of themselves in there or something, and it's reminding me of stuff they don't like about themselves.
Yeah, well,
maybe not when it comes to comedy or something, but I've noticed that sometimes when people criticize other people and are being haters, it's maybe a little projection going on.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think about that.
I mean, I'm okay. I've seen this when it comes to different relationships, whether it be friendships or romantic relationships. I've seen the projection thing going on lately. It's like something I learned about. You know what projection is?
Yeah.
It's like,
it's when you put light through you get a film and then you shine light through it. It kind of puts the images on there. It's very dreamlike. It's pretty cool.
No, you see it all the time.
No, I know.
You see it all the time where it's like, where it's, I mean, you see it in like people that are like Christians and they're like, Democrats are pedophiles and this and that. And next thing you know, like whoever's saying that gets caught with child porn or something, like they're like, they're saying the things that they're accusing other people of that they're guilty of themselves.
Yeah.
I'm just over explaining to the listeners, but
yeah,
it's just something I've noticed.
No, just over explain it to these idiot listeners. No, I'm just kidding.
You got to dumb it down for these
uninformed, these yo-yos, that. What if it was the opposite, where actually this is probably exists, but where the artist is mean to the fans, or he's mean to the, you know what I mean? Where again, people being mean to the artist, but what if it was the other way around? The artist is being mean to his fans, but I guess that happens a lot anyway, right?
I feel like that happens, yeah. But they have to get to a place where their fans they can't start off being mean. They probably have to like gather the fans and then get to the point where their ego takes over, and then they're like, screw you. And
or maybe they just gain fans from the I bet some punk kind of people and stuff are probably always mean, and then that's how they get their fans, is just by being mean or something like that. Maybe G.G. Allen type of people, fans and stuff or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he was.
I got other things to say. I mean, have we gone an hour yet? I could save these, but I could say one. I'll say one more thought. There's the flight back. You're flying from Athens to Atlanta. It's like a 11 or 12-hour flight. Who flies with an infant? Why do you need to take a baby across the world? I mean, this is the trident. This is a tale as old as aviation itself. The Wright brothers themselves probably said, babies shall not fly on our contraption. But oh my God, there was like, I asked for an aisle seat and they put me in the very front, in the big boy plane where you pull out your screen out of the handrest. You know what I'm talking about?
That. Yeah, I know.
There's
I don't
so
like
much
that.
leg room there. I'm a bit claustrophobic, so that's the ultimate spot if you're claustrophobic. But next to me was sort of like the emergency exit. And so there's like a kind of a place where people would stand which is fine. You know, you got people got to stretch their legs, but this lady with this screaming baby, the entire flight, just brought her baby next to me to do the screaming. And also, people with babies, why do they got to go like this? Why do they got to go like this?
Well, they're trying to calm the baby down. So where Doug is right now, he's kind of bobbing his body. He's standing up, holding the baby, and kind of bobbing it. Well, they're kind of
No,
trying
it's
to
like they go like left to
calm it
right.
down.
They go left to right, and they're not doing a thing. Enough
Well, they're
with the left
trying
to.
to.
If you have a baby, don't go left to right. Just hold it
Look,
nice and steady.
this is maybe a controversial opinion, but I don't think I just don't think people should bring babies on planes until they're. I don't think babies should be on board. They should just. I think people should start going on planes at the earliest, maybe 4, but I'm thinking 5. I think 5 is when people go on planes. And
Well, I'm kind of saying the same thing. I'm kind of saying the same thing. Look, I had noise canceling headphones, which helped a lot. But man, I really, for the people that didn't have that luxury of the noise canceling headphones, I could still hear that. I mean, it was just hours and hours of nonstop screaming.
it's not
I mean,
just the
why
noise.
do you have if it's like you got to fly the baby for an emergency surgery or something? Fine. I don't. What are the why?
Well,
If I have a baby, I'm not flying with that baby for years.
Me too. Well, here's the thing. It's also a challenging environment for the baby. It's not just
Yeah.
the noise. It's not just the noise for the other people. It's the baby.
The baby's
is
ears are
having
popping.
to.
Yeah.
They're having to deal with pressure that they're not. They don't even know how to deal with. I think, and they don't
Right.
even. They can't even be instructed on how to deal with. And look, I'll just say, the first time I went on a plane, I was 7 years old. Do you know when you're
The first time I was on a plane, I think I was older than that for sure.
Mm-hmm. And
I remember the first time I flew on a plane, I could like now to get on a plane is just I'm dreading it, you know.
Oh yeah.
But when I first got on a plane,
Oh yeah.
my mind was blown. I was looking out the window, just mesmerized, looking.
Oh, it was awesome.
Looking down. It was awesome.
Oh, and the
I was
food.
like, this is the coolest thing I've ever done.
And I was into the food back then. I mean, this is the 80s. You know, I was into the food back then. You know, where you. I remember the first meal I had on a plane, and I thought it was really good. It was lasagna, and then for dessert there was this brownie, and I thought, this is good. I like this. You know, airplane food. And I thought it was so exciting to go on a plane, and just it felt cool. And with the headsets and stuff, but they used to have those old. I remember those old headsets they gave you. Those the ones that are they're kind of uncomfortable, I guess. But I thought it was cool though. Anyway, you know, you just yeah.
Well, here's another bone to
I
pick.
hate flying now. I hate it. Anyway,
hate
go
it.
on.
But what about? I was thinking, why don't they just have baby flights? You know,
Oh, baby flights.
like one plane a day is just babies only, and baby parents and family flight. Get on the
No,
family
the
flight.
parents can't even fly. The parents can't even fly on there. The
No,
parents fly on a separate flight.
No,
you
send
know.
the parents in there too. All the parents, all the crying babies and parents.
It'd be
and
funny if
kids.
it was just a plane full of babies and that's it. Yeah.
But yeah, there's like twice as many passengers because the seats are small.
I don't really
it's
think
like-
babies
there's
should be
like-
flying.
There's like 10 across.
Or it could be like a tugboat kind of thing, but for a plane where there's a smaller plane that's full of babies, and it's being tugged by the big plane. And it'd be funny if the pilots were babies too.
Yeah, or just maybe a section in the plane where you kind of wall off the back section, or maybe turn the first class into baby section.
Or turn the old smoking section, turn that into the baby section.
Yeah.
No, but I actually just don't even think babies should be flying, you know?
But look, I don't have a baby, so maybe if you're a baby owner, chime in and tell us why we're wrong, why babies should fly on commercial flights just like everyone else. Got to have a little empathy here. But man, if you're just going on vacation, why are you bringing a baby? That's the thing.
Well, I guess
sometimes you gotta fly. You got a family emergency. You can't afford a sitter. I guess you got to
people
take
don't
the
want
baby.
to. I guess they don't want to be away from their baby at that age for so long. But then I'm thinking,
don't
then don't go on the vacation.
Don't go on across. Don't fly across the
Yeah. Now's not the
Atlantic
time
Ocean.
now's not the time to travel. Stay home with the baby then.
Or
you
go
know?
on a trip, stay local. Just
Or stay
plane.
local. Take
Yeah.
the baby on a car trip.
There you go.
Yeah.
Take-
Okay.
No, take the baby
That's-
on the Greyhound bus.
When you have a baby, you do not go. Your vacations are gettable. You are drivable. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they are of age, now you can start flying to Florida for a vacation or wherever you want to go. Yeah. Greece.
Or maybe there's soundproof baby pods that they can go into.
Again, I don't even think the baby should be flying. I don't even think there should be a baby in the air for the baby's sake.
Yeah. Well, we agree on that. We may agree about dinner, disagree, but we agree about that. Maybe no one should be flying. Let's just take flying off the menu. you know?
Well, no.
Just ground the flights for a while.
I can't get behind that because
Ground the flights.
I mean, imagine if we couldn't fly. Wow. That would make traveling take so much longer and harder.
Yeah, but why they can focus on those high-speed trains that they have in Japan. Let's get those going. Huh?
It would be cool to take a train.
How cool
to
would
be able
that
to take a train to Japan from here, and it
Yeah.
takes the same amount of time as a flight. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be cool. I would gladly take a train if it took longer, if there was just trains. Send me a train to New York. Fast
you?
train. Not one that stops every.
I don't know. I'm always going to want to take the quicker way. I mean, I'm not trying to take a longer route over there, but it's just security is just annoying and stuff. All that crap. There's a lot of stuff about flying that's annoying, but in the end, it does get you somewhere pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I just want I want the private jet. Okay, I know that's bad for the environment, but I mean, give me that private jet though. I've never been on a private jet. Have you ever been
I
on
want
a
a
private
private blimp. I want a private blimp.
Have you been on a private jet before?
No, I was invited to go on one once. And
I've never been on
I
one.
was really thinking about it, but I declined.
Oh, you
I could tell
declined
you what I
because
could tell you whose it was in the unzipped section if you want.
I'll hear that. I'll hear that. But I'm also curious, did you decline? Why did you decline? Because
Just
you don't believe in jets?
it was
like
like it was going to a specific event and it wasn't.
You thought it would seem superfluous.
No, it wasn't because I thought this was a wasteful jet to go on or something.
Mhm.
The event I didn't really, maybe it didn't line up with my schedule or other reasons
Okay.
like that.
Well-
I'll elaborate.
Okay, well, look, you're
Wish,
definitely going to
if you
want to
wish.
hear that. And you're going to want to hear about some other funny things that happen in Greece, I think, right? And so to do that, you know what to do. We mentioned it at the beginning of the show. Patreon.com/Poundcast.
That's the way to get unzipped. And we would also like to thank Jack Birch. He helps put the shows together. He's behind the scenes. He's behind the boards. Sweetjack.com on Instagram if you want to follow him. And Daniel Avila. He helps put together the TikToks. And we would like to thank All Things Comedy. Why not? They're our tried and true network that we're proud of. All right. Well, want to go on Zip now?
I think that sounds about right. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Poundcast.